Good morning. Yes, hello.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Fine, thank you.
I'm trying to put my camera on, but I can't because apparently the OS doesn't allow me to. So
Okay, that's Francois. Elizabeth,
Right.
is he able to join by video, or are we?
he will join us. He will join us. He should be joining us any minute.
Oh, I see Yi, I see Francois, and it's Raj who's not on video. Okay. I'm just going to check with the clerk. Elizabeth, do we have everyone here?
From our end, we do.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair. Through you, just a note to the participants, as we go through some of the procedural matters, your cameras might be turned off. That's just a common practice for us at this time as we do our virtual meetings, so that we can ensure that we have the proper committee members up on screen at the time. So if the host does turn off your camera or asks you to mute, we will again provide you with those permissions when it is time for that participation during business, just as a note to our participants. So Madam Vice Chair, through you, we do have quorum. Currently missing are Councillor Hutchison and Councillor McLaren. We do have from staff, both Alan Benson and Ryan Arcand with us today, as well as Ian Sullivan is our meeting host. And we don't have any members of the public save for the appellants and the representatives who are with us at this time. So I'll turn it over to you, Madam Chair.
Great, thank you. I'd like to call this meeting of the Appeals Committee to order. We have present with us today Bob Knox and Todd Storms, and I am Hillary Willis. I am the Vice Chair and I'll be chairing today. We have regrets from Councillor McLaren and as well as Councillor Hutchison, who may join us in progress. First, we're going to approve the agenda. If I could have a motion to approve, please. Mr. Knox, seconded. Mr. Storms, all in favor of the agenda? Thank you. Next, I would like to confirm the minutes of the meeting held December 20th, 2021. Could I have a motion to approve the minutes? Mr. Storms, a seconder. Mr. Knox, all in favor of the minutes from December? Thank you, approved. At this time, are there any disclosures of pecuniary interest with regard to the agenda?
No, none.
Seeing none. We have no delegations today. We have no briefings. So now we're at item 7 on our agenda. We have new appeals. Item 7A is Jack Tuesday's Bar and Grill. This is a notification that this appeal has been withdrawn by the appellant. Any questions on that from my panelists? No. Our item 7A, item 2 is 2467 Princess Street. A copy of the notice of appeal is attached. This is pertaining to a site that will be a Comfort Inn, and there's also a Domino's Pizza on the property. So you have a package of drawings that you received from the clerk, as well as the notice of appeal and a letter from the appellant. And so if we can move forward with a representative from the city to talk to us about this appeal, please. I'm not sure if it's going to be Mr. Benson or Mr. Arcand who's.
I can speak to that. Good
Okay.
afternoon. Yes, so there was a sign permit application made at 2467 Princess Street for a ground sign and a wall sign for a Comfort Inn. During the review, it was found that the parcel of land that contains the Comfort Inn also contains other commercial businesses on the property, one of which being a Domino's Pizza. So I believe the matter at hand is related to the sign bylaw, specifically clause G-1 5C, which states a ground sign shall be a minimum distance of 100 meters from another ground sign on the same premise. So in this case, there is an existing ground sign for the Domino's Pizza. And they were not able to meet that requirement in their application.
Okay. Are there any questions from my fellow panelists for Mr. Benson?
Was it, as I understand it, so, and I know we got an update, so maybe I've got the wrong distances, but as I'm reading this, it can only be 60 meters apart. Is that the issue? I know it's supposed to be 100, but their proposal is for 60, or do I have the number wrong?
I believe that number is inaccurate. That I believe that the appellants mentioned 60 meters as a lot frontage in their committee or the response.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
That's all right.
So, Mr. Benson, I'm seeing that it looks like the overall front, this is one property parcel, correct? That we're
Yes, that's
discussing? Okay,
Yep.
so I see that the overall frontage looks to be 99.8 meters, so just shy of the 100 meter in
Yes,
the
that's
bylaw.
correct.
That's the overall frontage. And the bylaw states that per 91 meters, you can have one ground sign.
I'll have to find the clause. Pardon me. So clause G1 bracket 4 states the second ground sign is permitted for frontage in excess of 91.4 meters.
Okay, great. So I'm seeing that from the Domino's sign to the proposed Comfort Inn sign, we have 41.7 meters. And I'm just wanting to ask you one question. So we have an inset diagram on the site plan, and it gives, I'm wondering, is this the distance from the sign out to the lot line or to the street line? It gives 119 inches or 3 meters. You see on the site plan where there's the inset, the blow up?
Take a look. I'm sorry, I'm not sure what dimension you're referring to. There is when I look at the revised site plan, there was a measurement from the sign to what I believe is the street, and its dimension is 558 inches.
Okay, so that's the 14 meters. So that would be the, and then the blow up next to it, the circle,
Yes,
that's giving, that's the lot line, I'm guessing? It's a distance of 119 inches.
I can't really confirm
Okay.
what that is, to be
Okay.
honest.
So I guess what I wanted to ask is did all the other conditions of this proposed sign meet the requirements of the bylaw?
Yes, this was the
Okay.
only issue at hand.
Okay, great, thank you. Do my colleagues have any other questions? Bob? You're muted.
I'm unmuted now. Is this a new build or is Comfort Inn, is it being existing with a sign already?
It's a new build.
Okay. All right. So the distance, just a question, historically, the 100, is it meters or feet between the signs? This is an illuminated sign. Is this a concern when they're closer? There's a visual aspect to it as far as distraction for traffic?
I'm not sure that I can speak to the intent of the bylaw. My supervisor, I believe, is in attendance, Mr. Arcand. He may be able to answer your question better than I can.
Sorry about that. Yes, the distance between the signs, there is an illumination with this sign, but essentially the distance between them is to limit the propagation of signs along Princess Street.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Bob, do you have anything further?
Not at this point.
Okay. Now, I realize I didn't mention at the outset that the appeals committee does have the ability to grant a variance that is within our powers with this bylaw. So we can also set terms and conditions to that variance, just so that my colleagues are aware. If there are no further questions for the staff, I'll move on to our appellant. Okay. All right, thank you. So is Mr. Yee? Are you going to be speaking, or Mr. Lucier? You're muted. Francois, you're muted.
Okay, because it keeps muting on me automatically. I do apologize. So yes, Mr. Yee is with me. I will do some of the speaking. If I need Mr. Yee as intervention, I will ask him. So the appeal is also for Mr. Raj. Raj was the owner of the hotel. Built a brand new property, beautiful new street comfort on Princess Street, as you guys know. Before I go into just a little comment, obviously this is for the city of Kingston. It's for tourism. I've been doing signage for hospitality for over 27 years. And like you mentioned before, you guys are able to possibly make a decision for a variance here without to go any further. But I'd like to mention that first of all, yes, it is an illuminated sign. It's respecting the height of 15 feet. It's respecting the square footage for the signage. It's going to help Mr. Raj with tourism, finding the hotel when they need to look for it. The distance between the two signs, I've been on the property several times. You're coming down Princess Street. It's nice to know that there's an hotel coming up if you're looking for a hotel at night. So that sign would be definitely helpful. I think it's respecting every other detail. Now, the only thing I was wondering is how come, it's the same lot, but two different businesses. So I guess there was a permit of construction that was given. And I don't know if at that time there was actually mention of, oh, by the way, we'll give you a construction permit, but you can't get signage on your front property. So I don't know if that was mentioned early on, but and Domino's is also a different business. It's a hotel. Domino's is, pizza, food. This is, hotel for tourism, as I mentioned before. And if you look across the street now, you might mention to me that there is not on the same property, but A&W and Petro-Canada signs up about 70 meters in distance between each other. And if it is to make sure that, this bylaw was created to make sure there's less signage on across the street, there's a lot more signage than on the side where the hotel is. It might be different lots, but there is more signage. So if it's for pollution, I don't know if it actually both sides of the street reflect the same thing. Regarding illumination, it is an illuminated sign, although the face is 95% opaque. In other words, the blue at night almost doesn't lit. It's just the seat and the comfort that you'll see. There's only 5% of light transmissivity to the face at night. So it's not going to be an obstruction or a pollution of light at all. So these are the little things that I wanted to bring up and comment on. Like I said before, I think Mr. Raj built a beautiful property and great for Kingston. And I think it would just help people to be able to find the hotel with that signage. The provisions have been made for electrical power, the concrete base. So that's what I have to say regarding distances. We did provide some updated drawings that we feel are accurate and showing the distances between the two signs, and we would like for the permit to be granted for sure. So,
okay. Do the panel members have any questions for the appellant? I'm seeing none. I am just wondering, were the two businesses that I know the Comfort Inn is a brand new building. Was the other part build, the Domino's Pizza, was that built earlier? Is that why there's already an existing sign there? It's already been operating for a while?
Yeah, for a long time. I think, I don't know the actual exact date, but it's been there for a long time.
Okay. Are there any other businesses to be added to this lot?
I would say no. Absolutely. Raj is there, but I would say no, because there's no room for more businesses, because right next to it, you have you all, which is the next down the road with, they also have a sign there. So
Okay. Knowing that you were working with just under 100-meter frontage on this property, did you give any consideration to doing one combination sign?
well, that was thought for me to answer. I don't know if that would be a possibility, because then the entrances from the Domino's doesn't lead you into the Comfort, and vice versa either. So there's actually, it's raised a little bit, and you know, there is a parking area, but then you have to walk down. So by car, you can't, it's not, the proper entrance. So this would give better, people who are coming into the hotel would have better direction than coming into the hotel rather than coming into the Domino's Street, for sure.
I'm just wondering, within the application process from the city, if there was any suggestion about how the owner could come within the bylaw.
Now, the thing I'm not sure about.
Oh, sorry, just wondering, Ryan, Mr. Arcan, could you maybe, has the city suggested to the owner what they could do to come within the bylaw? Has there been any discussion, or?
Yes, the discussions that were had was just what you had asked about, a combination sign, so that there was a sign on the property that would house, the Comfort Inn as well as the two additional businesses. The site plan was approved back in 2018. The Domino's and the other building was constructed approximately around that time, and the hotel started construction approximately around that time as well too. Although the hotel is now just nearing completion. So yes, the sign has been in place. The sign for the Domino's and the other business has been in place long before this construction now.
So there is also there is an additional business besides the Domino's on the site?
That's correct. There are two businesses in that building. It's, I believe it's please correct me, but it's some type of business personal services.
Okay.
And Domino's.
Okay, so there are two business units in that second building.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Mr. Storms, do you have a question?
No, I'm
Oh,
just
you're just
listening.
waving your hand.
Yeah, sorry, just flicking my pen. Sorry about that.
Okay, with everything that we have learned, the panelists have any further comments or questions?
I don't have any questions. I don't actually have an issue with what they're proposing. I know where the sites are. I drove by them the other night. And I think that it's I don't have any problem granting the exemption that's being requested, but I'm willing to hear from what the other panelists have to say.
Okay. Mr. Knox, do you have any comments? You're muted, Bob.
Okay, I'm back on.
Okay.
I don't have an issue with granting an exception also.
Okay, so we need to have a motion from the committee. So it would need to, maybe the clerk can help us format this. It would be something along the committee moves that the sign proceed as proposed. Are we placing any conditions around our variance?
I don't have any. Oh, but I was going to say I don't have any based on the information that we have in front of us.
Okay. So we would say that based on the information. Yep. Sorry, Bob. Go ahead.
Just wanted to make sure there's no plans on introducing another sign because of the business that also is sharing on the property along with Domino's and Comfort, the personal service business.
Could our appellant comment? Is there any plan for an additional request for a sign?
I'd have to say from our end, not whatsoever. So I don't know the intent down the road of the owner and Mr. Raj was on the phone call, but for what we're concerned about, there's no additional signs going up on those properties.
So the committee agrees that we will grant the variance for the proposed sign as presented. With the only condition being that no additional signs be proposed for the site.
That's fine. That's fine. That's fine with me.
That didn't sound very motion.
It's okay.
Mr.
Mr.
Yee's trying
Yee, I
to speak.
see
No additional ground sign or no additional sign.
Okay,
No gradation. I think maybe no additional ground sign. Okay.
ground set, yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so our motion is that the requested variance, the requested exemption to the bylaw will be granted as proposed, as presented by the appellant, with the only condition being that no additional signs will be added, ground signs will be added to the site. Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Okay, sorry, I just had a little blip on my computer. I'm just gonna ask the clerk, does that sound adequate to you?
Yes,
I think-
Madam Vice Chair, I think that is fine. I had the same thing, that the minor variance be granted in accordance with the plans presented by the appellant, with the exception that no additional ground signs will be permitted in the area or on the property.
That sounds wonderful. So can we have someone to move that motion? Mr. Storms, someone to second that motion? Mr. Knox, all in favor? All of us? Your exemption is granted, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And moving along in our agenda, we have no property updates, item 7B. We have no motions. We have no notices of motion.
We will leave you from here, right?
Okay, yes, you can go. You're done. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Number 10, we have no other business. We have no correspondence to share. The date of our next meeting is Monday, June 20th. I'll ask the clerk, that's our next meeting. Do we have any business? Do you know?
Madam Vice Chair, it is possible that we might have business for that date. I will confirm shortly.
Okay. Is there anything else you require of us? No? Okay, great. Thank you to Mr. Benson and Mr. Arcan for joining us. And if I can have a motion to adjourn, Mr. Storms, a seconder, Mr. Knox. Okay, thank you very much. We're adjourned.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.